Mickey Talks.
To be here, episode 31, Mickey Talks. Matt, 31. So we've officially made a month of shows.
We have. We've already kind of made the papers, but not really.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching, brought to us by Barnes Paving, barnespaving.com, or give them a call, 443-243-3710. No job too big or too small. They're incredible people. MHIC licensed and insured, accredited with the Better Business Bureau. They do everything from commercial, residential, anything you really need paving-wise. barnespaving.com, B-A-R-N-E-S, paving.com. So, Matt, how is it? How's everything going?
Everything's good. Yeah. You want to talk about talk about the papers?
I want to bring our guest in right away because he's a very funny guy, and I want to get him involved in this conversation too. Joining us right now, I met this gentleman years ago. I've seen him perform twice. Absolutely incredible entertainer, hypnotist, comedian extraordinaire, Flip Orley. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. You make it really hard when you keep the bar high. Like, I like to lower the bar.
Yeah. This drunk dude I met 8 years ago, Flip Orley.
My favorite introduction, ladies and gentlemen, we hope he doesn't suck tonight. Please welcome Flip Orley, right? And then it's like, well, anything that doesn't suck.
Anything above that, we're winning. Flip, so I brought you in right away. Matt and I usually talk up front for a little bit, but something big happened today. Well, really a week ago, right, Matt? A little over a week ago?
Yeah, about a week ago.
We had one of Baltimore's wealthiest, most successful businessmen. He owns the professional indoor soccer team here.
Right.
His name is Ed Hale. He
banker as well.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Ed Hale. He owned First Mariner Bank.
There's a rumor that he might be running for an office.
Well, here's what happened.
Guess where that rumor started?
Right here.
No way.
A week ago, he was sitting there, and we were talking, and I said, Ed, I flat out asked him. I said, why don't you ever think about running for office? And he said, well, I think I might run for governor.
Wow.
And he announced it. And then 4 days later, the press picks it up, calls him.
It took him 4 days?
Well, because, it was only here. I put it out that he said it, but it took a minute. And, well, there was a weekend involved. And actually, it happened on Tuesday. So it was really Friday and then Monday is when everything happened. And then the local papers, the Sun and the Banner, put out the story and never mentioned my show. Well, they just said in an interview.
Yeah, in a random interview.
In a random interview. It's like, wow, thanks.
Could have been with like a homeless guy in the street.
Yeah, could have been anybody at that point. But the truth is, it happened
liver,
here.
Flip. We're chopped liver.
God love him. I would never run for an office because my life is a little bit too checkered.
Well, I think both of us may fail in that department, my friend. Let me ask you, do you think politicians, all of them, are sleazy, or do you like some of them?
So you're not asking me my views on politics.
No, not at all.
So I will answer that question.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, and I'm sure there's some exceptions to the rule, I don't like politicians.
I don't either.
And the thing of it is, generally speaking,
yeah,
even if they tend to want to go, I want to help my community and I'm getting in for the right reasons. Yeah. I don't think they're in long before they get swept up in
the bureaucracy and all the money and all the influence,
the lobbying and
the power.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So I think it's really hard for people to stay on track.
Yeah, I agree with you. I kind of feel the same way, Matt. How about you?
Yeah, it's tough to be a politician these days because the name of the game now is just, how can we smear this person and get them in court and sue the crap out of them?
I actually think the game now is, I know they're going to smear the crap out of me.
Yeah.
How do I stay out of jail and win the election?
Right.
Sure.
That's what politics is now. I know they're going to trash me, whatever. But Flip, I don't want to talk politics with you. How have you been, man? How long you been doing this now?
Oh God. So I started when I was 18.
Wow.
And so here's the sort of the evolution. I wanted to be a comic from the time that I could speak. And when all my friends run through the evolution of going, I want to be a cop, I want to be an astronaut.
Right.
I want to be a comic from like forever.
Me too.
And then in elementary school, I asked a girl to go to a dance with me and she said no. And then I found a book called How to Pick Up Girls with Hypnosis.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
that's a great story.
And so I tried to on the playground. Nothing like I wasn't 40 and she was in sixth grade. Like, we were the same age, 12 or whatever.
Right.
And I'm trying to be really suave and mysterious,
Sure.
like, looking in my eyes.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? I'm like, shh, looking at my, and then she kicked me in the groin. And and I think I've told Matt this before, like a lesser man would have stopped.
Right.
But that's when I discovered I like a little kink.
That's so funny, man. You know what's funny? I don't know if I ever told you this. I got a book out of the back of a comic book called How to Hypnotize when I was like, I don't know, 10 years old.
Wow.
That's not really when my journey started, though. For me, it started 10, 15, 20 years later, though.
Well, I mean, I'm on the playground. This is in a recess, I'm on the playground in the fetal position.
Yeah.
And I'm like, which hurts more, my groin or my emotional state when she starts telling people? So from that point on, I started looking for books. It's like, there's got to be something to hypnosis. This clearly wasn't it.
Right. Yeah.
So in the day, not to give out my age per se, but I used to go to the mall and would go to B. Dalton.
Oh yeah,
Walden's,
B. Dalton. Yep, I remember all that.
and go to the psychology section and start finding books on hypnosis. So I was initially self-taught from like 6th grade through when I finally met a hypnotist who did a show at my school.
Yeah.
Years later.
We had a question on the show yesterday. We were promoting you were going to be here, and somebody asked me, they said, is hypnosis a science? And I said, I've really seen arguments on both sides of it. Good arguments for it is a science, good arguments for it's not technically a science.
It's a social science.
Well, I will say, as the non-hypnotist in the room,
yes,
that I look at it sort of as an art based in science, mental.
I think you're
sense.
spot on. I think you're spot on.
I think that's really what it is. I mean, I don't know enough about it, but being a fan of it, I mean, I'm sure there are things that because of your research, you guys know how to, I don't want to use the word manipulate, but I don't know.
No, there's tried and true techniques.
Right. And when you know those, that's a craft. That's a talent. It's like anything. Baseball, you learn how to get on the ground, grab the ball, pick it out of your glove and throw it. Soccer, you learn how to trap the ball, pass it on, shoot, save it, whatever. I think in hypnosis, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then the art form comes from how great you can perform those scientific methods.
Yeah.
Well, that's the showman part of it.
So I've never had an intro. Like, I'm not good with physical sciences.
Right. I'm not either. Really.
So I've had people ask me questions like, so if someone's hypnotized, are they using the theta waves or the beta waves? Yeah. I'm like, dude, I don't know. And it's not that those
they pay to cover.
Let me hook you up to my EEG machine.
Yeah.
I mean, those things are interesting. It's just not my wheelhouse. So I was more about the social aspects of how do you make it work? How do you get the results you want? How do you determine who's hypnotized and who's not? And then based on their personalities, for entertainment's sake, is like, what kind of things are possible in terms of what they can create?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I've always, I'm a comic that, I'm not a magician. I'm not but I'm the biggest fan of guys that do it. Like when I see masters at work, I just love the art, watching a great performer to me is what it's all about.
Well, it's funny. When I first started, everyone wanted to pigeonhole me into being a hypnotist.
Right.
But I've always considered myself a comic who uses hypnosis as sort of a hook.
That was the other thing I wanted to tell you. I remember seeing you at the DC Improv years ago.
Right.
And I remember going and thinking, all right, is this going to be like cheesy, for 25 minutes until somebody's hypnotized? Is it going to be those stock stupid jokes that every guy that needs you're at a kid party and you use these lines. You were awesome, man. Like as a comic, like when you came out, I remembered I was with my ex-wife at the time. And
was she your wife at the time or your ex-wife at the time?
Wife at the time.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
I hate to be a nitpicker.
Yeah, no, that's a good question though. Didn't see each other much afterwards. But when we were watching you, I remember leaning over to her and saying, this guy's a great comic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't even see the hypnotism yet. I was like, this guy's a great comic.
That means a lot. I appreciate it.
It's the truth, man. I dig it. And I think what was so awesome about watching you flip was you had both. Like, I don't think a lot of guys, I've seen other hypnotists, and I don't want to mention names. They're great.
Matt Davis?
Well, no, I've never seen that. I've never.
Yes, you have.
Oh, Advances thing.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. That's right. And you were great.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, thank you.
But, I remember I've seen other guys, and I've thought to myself, all right, I mean, get to the part where your people are doing dumb stuff, so it's funny. You were great from the moment you did 15 minutes of like stand up,
Right.
just straight material crowd work. And I was like, man, this guy is the
I
real
always
deal.
tell Flip, I mean, he deserves his own theater out in Vegas. You got all those guys out in Vegas.
Oh, you're being very kind.
You're the best guy in the country, man. You would kill it at a theater in
you.
Vegas, and you'd be able to go home and sleep in your own bed at night every night.
Wow, that'd be something.
Yeah.
Hey, Flip, at your level, what you do, I'm going to ask a broad, weird, personal question.
Sure.
Has your career been financially great for you, or have you feel like you've missed that next level?
Well, I've definitely missed the next level. Like, so in other words, when you start getting into the, I don't know, from the Bill Burrs to the Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's a whole nother world.
That's another sphere.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, are you making national headliner stand-up money?
yeah, but so
Good,
here's
man.
the deal, and we may or may not talk about it, but I've been divorced
Let's get into
more
this.
than a few times.
How many?
5.
You've
You
been
have,
divorced.
you have to count his earrings, man.
Yeah. If you
Each-
look, I get an earring every time I get a divorce.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, if you marry a guy, you got to get the other ear pierced.
So when my 5th wife, I was doing 2 months in Atlantic City in 2018. And I was there July and August. And she called me at the end of July and she goes, I'm leaving you. Right?
Aren't they amazing?
And it's funny because I had 2 nights off and she waited till like the next day when I had a show that night.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
She could have given me a couple days to kind of deal with it. And so it's so funny because I thought this is my 5th divorce and I don't do this well. And I thought maybe I can will myself gay,
Yeah, right.
you know, because I really like my guy friends. And so I was walking up and down the boardwalk,
Yeah.
sunglasses on with that, America's being littered tier.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And I'm looking at guys, random men, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, can I imagine myself,
With a dude.
but nothing like sort of advanced, right?
Right,
It's
right.
like, can I imagine myself in a movie theater with that guy sharing a popcorn?
Right.
It's like, oh no. Can I imagine myself with that guy, like watching a sunset? Oh, and then I thought, like, I'm destined to buy a woman a house every couple of years. It sucks. It's horrible.
That's a great line. Have you ever heard that Rod Stewart say his line about women?
Dangerfield?
No, Rod Stewart.
No.
Rod Stewart has a great line. He was in an interview one time and he dated and married, I don't know how many of the world's most beautiful women. And they asked him, they said, Rod, how do you get these beautiful young women every time?
Right.
He said, I walk up, I say, hi, I'm Rod Stewart. I'm a rock star. Pick out a house.
Oh, wow.
He just starts off, pick out a house and we'll start dating after that.
That's so funny.
Because then you don't have the drama at the end. You got a house, see you later.
So there were 2 women that I was rarely smart enough to think, hey, I can just bail
Yeah.
before the ceremony. Right.
Yeah.
So I'd always get married. Like my 3rd wife, she's like, let's get married. And I go, no. She goes, let's get married. And I go, no. And she goes, why? I go, I'm 26. I've already been divorced twice. Like I need a break.
Yeah.
And one day she goes, let's get married. And I go, if I say yes, would you shut your effing pie hole? And the next weekend we were in Vegas eloping.
Oh my God.
And so, but I think back, there was 2 women that were head and shoulders prettier and more stunning and more amazing than anyone else. And now I feel really bad because on looks alone, they deserved a home.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I didn't do it, but I should have.
Do you think, let me ask you though, is it you or them?
So
Honest question.
okay, so this
Like, are you a lunatic?
This
One
will-
of those performers
No.
that's just a lunatic at home?
this will sound self-serving.
Fair
but
enough.
All 5 are my fault, but the reason is I'm a really bad chooser.
I get it.
Yeah,
I do
really
get
bad
that
chooser.
part. I've been divorced twice. And
amateur.
I am an amateur. I am a
my
lightweight. I'm not even in your league. But I will tell you this, and this is the thing I think I figured out that it really is the problem in a lot of relationships.
Right.
I think that men believe they know what's best for the couple. And I think women know that we're wrong. And they just let us keep going until we make enough mistakes where they go, yeah, I kind of let you hang yourself.
Well, and again, sounds very self-serving, but especially 3rd, 4th, and 5th wife,
Yeah.
right? Well, second, 3rd, 4th, and 5th wife. Oh, and between 4 and 5, fiance who left me a month before the wedding. So,
Do
but
you just hate all your money and possessions? Is that what it is?
It's a game I like to play with myself, right? It's like, how close can I get to bankruptcy and then recover?
Yeah.
Flip, this fortunately led to a great movie for you, though, didn't it?
Well, yeah, actually it did. So,
Yeah.
so
Tell us about that.
it's a short, it's a documentary. And so my first 4 marriages and then the failed engagement, went the way they went, and it was fine. And I met this 5th girl in Dallas, and it was like love at first sight, right? Which had never happened before. And we dated for a month, and I go, oh my God, it's like, we're not married or engaged, but I love you so much, and I've never had a tattoo, but I could see tattooing your name on my body for the rest of my life. And she says, really? And I go, yeah. And we go to a place in Deep Bellum in Dallas called Taboo Tattoo. And I got her name on my body. And then we got married like a month later, June 20th on my birthday. So 2 months after we started dating, I got a tattoo the first month, and then we got married the second month. And in the next year and a half of our marriage, I got like 11 more tattoos, 12 in all with her name somewhere in the design.
Oh my God.
And then
now, did she get any tattoos with your name?
She got 5.
Really?
4 or 5. But
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. One for each inch. One for each inch. Is that?
Does she have a movie?
If she does, I don't know about it.
Right.
But then she left me, and so like I don't know if you can see.
Oh my God. Yeah. How do you miss that?
Right. So anyway, it said her name right here.
Yeah.
Which it's Stacia.
Yeah.
Right?
Stacia.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Stacia.
Right.
And so she left me, and it's like I didn't know how to cover this one up. Right. And my kid goes one day, he goes, Daddy, which I don't know why I like doing that voice for him.
I like it.
But I do. He had the voice of a gravelly man from the age of birth.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So he goes, Daddy, just go ahead and add some letters. And I go, add letters? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, Stacia, pistachio. And I mean, you can even see like pistachio nuts. And yeah,
that's hilarious.
So I've got a buddy who used to live, in fact, he was on XM radio, but he's now living in Lake Tahoe, Nevada.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm getting a pistachio tattoo. He goes, record everything. So I recorded the tattoo session.
Yeah.
Every time my kid and I were talking about it, I'd record it all on an iPhone.
Sure.
And then I started talking about it on stage, record it on an iPhone. And he goes, send me the footage. So I sent him all this raw footage. And he calls me up like a month later, and he goes, I made all that raw footage into a 5-minute movie, and I'm going to send it to like pistachio companies like Wonderful Pistachio to see about like a sponsorship, like a corporate sponsorship.
Oh my God. That's one of the best. I absolutely adore.
And wasn't it accepted into some film festivals too?
Wonderful Pistachio never took a phone call. Like they're advertising it, nobody. So like a couple of weeks go by, and he goes, oh, by the way, he calls me up. He goes, so I submitted our movie into a film festival. I go, what? He goes, okay, well, 37.
He entered it into 37 film festivals
around the world.
How many did you get in?
12.
Did you really?
And won.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won the Pistachio Film Festival.
And so it's Pistachio, a love story.
That's hilarious.
Right?
And is it on YouTube?
I think it's on Vimeo. I think.
Yeah, look for that. Pistachio, a love story.
I didn't know that. I've never seen it. You know,
you're kidding.
I got to check it out.
Yeah,
I can actually I can send you the link.
Yeah.
So I go, wait, so you submitted us like 37 film festivals. I go, yeah. I go, it was free, right? He goes, no, there was an entrance fee. I go, I don't have the money. Like I'm 5 courses in. I don't have the money to reimburse you. He goes, well, I didn't ask you to. So there's something called like Film Fest Highway or Film Highway or something like that, which is the major thing that does them. And so we started getting rejections. The first one rejected, second, third, fourth rejected. And we were laughing. And he was every time he got a rejection, he would send me and we'd laugh. Yeah. Fifth one, it's like, we're happy to tell you you've been accepted into such and such film festival. And then like we laughed harder, tears, like, right. And I go, did you expect to be accepted anywhere? He goes, no. So like the next 4, we got accepted. We were in like the Tokyo Film Festival, the Rome Film Festival.
Did you guys go?
No. In fact, so he lives in Lake Tahoe. We were accepted in the Sacramento Film Festival, and I flew out there. Yeah. Because we were going to go. And do you want the whole long story or just the abbreviated version?
Tell the long story. I don't have to talk.
So the film festival was on Sunday, but they had a sort of a gathering of filmmakers on Saturday night at some bar, and it was put on by the film festival.
Right.
I couldn't make it. I was flying in Saturday night, and I was going to miss the mixer. So my buddy goes, and he's talking to a guy who had made a movie. The guy lives here in America with a green card, but from India.
Okay.
And I'm not going to do the accent because I don't want the email.
Right.
So the guy goes to my buddy, you filmmaker, and he goes, yeah. And my buddy goes, are you one? He goes, yeah. And my buddy goes, what's your film about? This guy goes, My film is about a ninja that every few years he has to drive in the middle of nowhere to have a battle to the death with a ninja master. And if in the battle he dies, like he dies.
Wow.
And my buddy goes, wow, that sounds intense. And the guy goes, you want to know what it's all about? And my buddy goes, yeah. He goes, it's a metaphor for me dealing with immigration. Because every couple of years I have to go renew my green card. And if I say or do the wrong thing, they send me back to India and I feel like I'm going to die.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Yeah.
And so the guy goes, what's your film about? And my friend goes, oh, my buddy's got a dick tattoo. Anyway, dick tattoo won.
And did you win that one?
Oh yeah,
The
the guy from India was beside himself. But so the funniest part was, so they show our film along with whatever block we're in the morning on Sunday,
right.
and the award ceremony is like 8 p.m. So it's like noon, and I go to my buddy. I go, I don't want to wait around for the award ceremony. He goes, what? I go, I will if you want to, but I don't want to. We have a 3-hour drive back to Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
And I go, do you want to stay? He goes, no. And I go, well, I don't want to stay. So with that, we get back in the car and we laugh our ass off all the way back to Lake Tahoe. Like 10 o'clock at night, we get an email. Congratulations, you had won. We are holding your trophy for you.
You could have showed all those people that pistachio on your dick at the award ceremony if you wanted to. And you walked away from that opportunity.
Had no idea.
Flip.
And my buddy's like, do you feel bad that we didn't stay? I'm like, no, I don't care.
This is what I learned in this story. So is it true that you have a pistachio tattoo on the schmeckle?
No, as it turns, so I have her signature
On it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which by the way, and it's
Can't
like,
even imagine that.
it's an old joke, but it's really true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if we were all together with a big group of people at like someone's house having a pool party in January.
Sure.
Right. And we're skinny dipping. It's January. I get out of the pool and people are like, oh my God, her initials. Right. And then I start warming up. They're like, holy shit, it's her signature. Like that really that's 100% true.
Flip. Let's break this down. When you're in the tattoo parlor,
Yeah.
having this done. Talk about that.
So I got a question.
Okay.
All right.
I'll get to that.
That's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Okay.
Do they like pull it out long? Do you have to like pull it out and like hold it and then they do it?
Do you have any ink?
Ink? I mean,
Yeah.
I have a pen.
Tattoos.
Oh, I got this.
Okay.
That's
So-
it.
So any part of your body, the canvas is pretty stationary,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
The only part of a person's anatomy that's not stationary,
Is the penis.
right.
Yeah.
So my wife and I at the time were having a drinking game.
Yeah.
And I got 2 tattoo bets over 3 months that I lost both in a drinking game. So I go, let's place a bet on this game. She goes, what? I go, winner gets to choose a tattoo for the loser, and the loser can't say no. And she goes, I'm in. And later I'll tell you why if you want to know the reason why I made the bet. But so fast forward, she goes, you're going to get the bet because I lost. She goes, you're going to get the tattoo. I go, well, yeah, that was a bet. So she goes, I want my signature on your body. And I'm like, all right. So we go to the tattoo. I call a buddy of mine who's a tattoo guy. And I go, hey, I'm just like, do you do like penis tattoos?
Yeah, of course.
And he goes, absolutely not. I go, all right. He goes, but you want to hear something funny? And I go, what? He goes, I kind of want to do one as like a bucket list thing.
Really?
Yeah. And I go, oh my God, can I be your bucket list? So with that, we fly to
So
Arizona.
you got a tattoo on your schmeckle.
Yeah.
By a guy that never tattooed one before.
Ever.
And you've been divorced 5 times.
Yeah.
You realize this we need an intervention, Flip. Something's going on in that head of yours.
I make some bad choices sometimes. So, but it's really funny because you asked the legit question.
Yeah.
Women before have said to me, so when that part of your body's getting tattooed, like, are you erect?
Right.
No.
Of course, yeah.
No, it's like that part of your body is looking at the needle comes like, and it does its best like turtle hat.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
I mean, do they numb you up or what?
No, dude.
Wow, you have some pain tolerance, Flip.
So my wife went in
or
there
you're
with
dead
me,
inside.
and I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
And the tattoo guy goes, you're going to need to hold him. I'm doing this like I'm that big, but it's more like you need to hold him like that. So we have like a steady canvas to work on.
That's incredible.
So I made sure they shut the door because I'm a little bit modest. You wouldn't think so by the story. And she's holding me, like this. And he's like, stay.
My God.
How long did it take?
45 minutes.
Oh Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Wow, that must have felt like 4 days.
Not only that, that's the longest you've ever used that thing,
Oh, my
isn't
God.
it? 45 minutes. Who the hell's going that long, buddy?
Flop sweat. Just literally just flop
I
sweat.
can't imagine.
Did you see the movie? What was it? Broadcast News.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
remember the guy when he first got up there?
I
shoot.
know who you mean.
The guy with the curly hair.
Yep.
where he's got. I was like that.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
That's
it was horrible.
crazy.
Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
looked like that.
Now, let me ask you this. I just like to know this about people I interview. Let's go back to when you're, say, 14, 15 years old.
All right.
What
got it.
music were you into? What did you really love then?
So I grew up where I would say I'm sort of post Beatles in the 60s thing.
Yep.
In the day, like there was only so many radio stations. By that point, there was FM, obviously. But
Sure.
rock and roll was rock and roll. So you could be listening, and 1 minute it would be Queen, the next minute would be
Right.
Led Zeppelin.
So
the
I'm
next
saying,
minute
were
would
you a classic rock
be
guy?
Marshall Tucker?
Yeah.
The Eagles. Yeah, and so this whole range, and that's what I grew up listening to.
Yeah, me too. That's
Yeah.
exactly.
Same,
But
yeah.
my dad was a huge, and my mom were both also huge Motown fans.
Love Motown.
Yeah, so
Huge
I
Motown fan.
like my Motown knowledge is crazy. Loved Motown.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about movies? What's your all-time favorite movie? If you had to pick one,
Well, I can tell you the movie I've seen the most.
which is what?
But you have to understand, I started singing it when I was really, really young, and I used to.
Fair enough.
I shouldn't say this because where we are, but I used to sneak in movie theaters a lot.
We all did.
Right.
Flip. Yeah.
I think I've seen Enter the Dragon 150
Enter the
times.
Dragon.
Oh my God!
It's an
Yes,
incredible movie.
for sure.
Yeah. Are you a martial arts guy?
No, I mean, so I love UFC.
Right.
I don't know if I can. It's a podcast, it's not.
Of course, you
right.
can say whatever you
Yeah, I'm
want.
kind of a pussy.
Right.
So the closest I came to martial arts was I was in 7th or 8th grade, and I said to my mom, I go, there's a Taekwondo place down the street. I've got a paper route, so I'm making my own money.
Yeah.
I've got a bike, so I can transport myself there and back. If I get hurt, I'll quit. If my grades suffer, I'll quit. Can I take karate? And she's like, no.
You're too much of a pussy.
Yeah. And that's the closest I got to
I mean,
martial arts.
when I was growing up, everybody wanted to be a ninja. All those
Yeah, of
ninja
course.
movies came out with Bruce Lee, and
There was a guy in my neighborhood named Matt Minnie, in
Yeah.
fact. And he was like, we were like 10 or 11, and he was like insane with nunchucks
Right.
and all that stuff and the sticks. And like, but he couldn't really fight. It was weird. Like,
Right.
but he was great with all that stuff. And he wore those like baggy pants and the
Yeah.
little ballet shoes they look like.
right.
He would just wear that stuff in the neighborhood.
Yeah, the world is full of useless martial arts that
Yeah,
really
yeah.
give you no skill to defend
right.
yourself.
Yeah. But
you know?
I did dig that.
Since I had a paper route, I had all this money, so I would buy all the martial arts gear
Right.
without any instruction whatsoever.
Sure, throwing stars.
Oh my! And
Yeah.
I used to like file them down so they actually were sharp because when you'd buy them, they were all dull.
Dull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You would file your throwing stars down.
yeah.
Oh, you're a
Yeah.
psychopath.
And then I would
No, but
take-
you can't throw them into your closet door. Like,
Yeah, yeah. No, you're
they
right.
would just
Dull.
tink, 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 and they would
Yeah.
also. But yeah, I would stick in the door.
Sure.
But I gave myself a concussion with nunchucks. I almost crippled myself with a 3-section staff. I was trying to do that, and one caught my knee, and it's like, oh, all right.
Were you an athletic guy? Like, did you play sports at all?
I played basketball. And
What are you, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'2".
Yeah. So you played basketball?
So I don't always pay attention to my mouth.
Right.
Like when I sort of drift off, my mouth has free reign to do whatever.
Right.
So I was starting guard on my freshman team in high school in Phoenix, and we just won the first 4 games of the season. And our coach was yelling at us, and then I heard someone tell him to go F himself, and it was echoing in the gym, like
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that sounded like me. And then I see like everyone looking at me. It's like, oh shit, that was me.
You did say it?
Yeah, I had no idea. Because I was thinking it, but it's like, no, that's supposed to be an internal thought, and evidently it wasn't. And so the coach came up to me and he goes, "You can stay on the team, but you're not playing anymore." And he never played me again. And he goes, "Then you're not going out next year." So
Wow. Oh, well, that's quite a uplifting story.
Hey,
Flip.
Before we go on,
Yeah.
we should mention Flip's in town for a show.
Oh, yeah. Where is
Oh,
your show
yeah.
tonight?
it's
It's
tomorrow night.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Where are you?
It's the Collective Encore in Columbia.
Nice. Collective Encore, Columbia. Are tickets still available? Do we know? Can anybody call there?
I don't know if they're available.
Fair enough. You think it's almost sold out
It's
or whatever?
close, or it is. I don't know. You know what it is? When I'm talking to people that I really like and have fun with, I absolutely forget I'm promoting.
I do
them.
the same thing. Yeah.
When I've got buddies in Phoenix and on the radio and love doing their show, much
Sure.
like I've done radio here. That
Yeah, you were on. We met when you did Kirk, Mark, and Lopez so many times.
Love those guys.
In fact, I'm going to have you tell the Lopez story.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Let's do it. In fact, so years ago, for people watching, you guys remember the 98 Rock Morning Show, Kirk, Mark, and Lopez. Lopez, of course, was such a legendary, iconic morning guy in this town. I mean, he was the guy. Everybody loved him.
Newsman.
Newsman. But
right.
he got cancer, and we sadly lost Lopez early. But you two had become
Really good friends. And
Yeah.
before I tell this story, I just want to go on record. I'm looking right in the camera. Really like Robert Lopez.
Yeah, he was the
really
great.
do. We were friends, and he made me laugh a lot.
Yes. Tell this story, though. It's so Lopez. Anyone that knows Lopez gets this story. That's why it's great.
So he calls me up, and I live in Lafayette, Louisiana, and he calls me up at my home, and he tells me the whole story. He's got cancer, which I felt horrible, obviously, for him. And he's like, I'm on chemo, and I'm not doing well with it. And the doctor, it's almost hard giving me the chemo because my body responds so poorly to it. And he goes, I was wondering if hypnosis could help me tolerate the treatments better.
Right.
And I go, it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm a pretty good hypnotist. So I did some research, and I spent a lot of time, and I've got a little recording studio at home. So I record this audio for him, and I edit it and, make sure that it's really kind of clean.
Sure.
And I send it to him, and I don't know, like a month later or whatever, he calls me and he goes, hey, this is Lopez. I go, hey, how are you doing? And he goes, I want to let you know that your audio that you sent me. I go, yeah. He goes, it's all wrong. Like whatever you thought you were doing, you were wrong. I'm like, in what way? He goes, you were talking about my red blood cells, and whatever you think they do, they don't do that. I'm like, oh. And then you were talking about my white blood cells, and you were even like more off the mark. And I'm like, I'm listening to this audio, and like nothing you said was accurate. I'm like, I am so sorry. So I guess it didn't help at all. He goes, oh my God, that helped him. Incredible. My doctor was shocked. He's like, the sessions are so much easier. He goes, but no thank yous.
Yeah.
He goes, I just want to let you know, you do better research because this sucked. I'm like, all right.
But he loved it at the same time.
Loved it, but never said so. He just told me it worked.
I love Lopez, and I think the greatest compliment Lopez ever gave to me, the first 3 or 4 times I did Kirk, Mark, and Lopez, I think he just looked at me as this stupid little kid that would come in there and say outrageous things and be funny, and the other guys liked me, and he would just always kind of be like, whatever. Well, one day, like the 5th time I'm on, he started telling a story about the Civil War and something to do with the Civil War, and I corrected him about something he said.
Are you shitting me?
No, I'm not. On the air.
I did this once too.
So listen, in the middle of a story, I swear to God, this is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
He's reading it, and he goes, and the head of the cavalry for the Confederacy was blah, blah, blah. And I go, actually, it was Jeb Stuart, right? And he goes, and he shoots me this look, and he goes, I think that's not true. I said, Lopez, I promise you, at Gettysburg, Jeb Stuart was running the cavalry, right? And he goes, we'll see about that. And he finishes his news. The next newscast, the next hour, he doesn't speak to me. The entire other 58 minutes, he says nothing. We get to the news story. And again, he goes, and like I said last hour, and so it had something to do with Gettysburg and the reenactment thing. He goes, in that story, and let me add, I was corrected earlier, and they were correct. And he looked me dead in the face, and he said, you're not bad, kid. And we became friends like that.
Wow.
The moment the bit was over and we went to commercial, he stuck his hand out and he said, I had the wrong opinion of you.
That's not at all what happened with me. I corrected him off air after he got off the air. The microphones went off.
Yeah.
Corrected him on a pronunciation, and he said, F you.
Wow.
And that was the end of it. Yeah, that was the end of it.
Ondeco used to get mad at him.
Sure. Oh, my God. I witnessed some throwdowns with those guys.
We'd be on the air doing whatever, and, I was contributing whatever stupid comments I had.
Sure.
And then we'd go to commercial, and Ondeco would go, Lopez, what are you doing? He goes, I'm telling the Somali prince that I want to send him $600 so I can get the $2 million. He's like, would you stop? We're on the air. He's like, I've really got him going. Like, can you do that when we're off the air? He goes, no, like he's hooked. I'm really...
Lopez was one of those guys, man. And you know this, Flip. I mean, he was an original, man.
Yeah.
There was he was authentic through and through.
And let me clarify, he was very nice to me.
He was
always.
the best.
So I love Lopez.
F you, buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Lopez. Flip, how long now have you been a headliner?
So I started doing stand-up at 18, open mic nights and whatever. And then I was 21 or so.
You remember your first show?
As a hypnotist?
As a hypnotist.
Yeah, absolutely do.
Yeah.
Absolutely do. So I was going to ASU, Arizona State University, and my roommate goes, "So you're doing comedy?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Do hypnosis." I'm like, "I'm a comic." And do hypnosis. And we sort of went back and forth for 6 months.
Wow.
And I lost my temper one day and I go, "If I tried doing a show on hypnosis once, would you get off my back?"
Right.
And he goes, "Yeah." So I call up the club in Tempe. This is before the Improv was built.
Yeah.
There was a club called Chuckles.
Chuckles.
You've heard of Chuckles?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
You know who told me about a story from Chuckles? Oh my God. What was it? Paul Reiser.
Yeah.
Of all people,
Yeah.
told me a story. And Chuckles in Arizona was the name of the place.
That was a 500-seat two-story
That's what he
club.
said. It was
Huge.
amazing. Yeah.
Big stage. So I called up the manager of Chuckles and I go, open mic nights were Monday.
Yeah.
And I go, I explained the whole deal.
Yeah.
You know, because I was doing open mic nights every Monday. And I go, "Can I do hypnosis?" And then I had to wait for him to stop laughing
Right.
before I convinced him. It's like, "No, I'm not kidding." So he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "We're going to still do the open mic night. We'll give you 30 minutes on the back end," which
Wow.
if you know anything about hypnosis, 30 minutes is a tough show.
Sure.
So at the time I'm like 21 and I'm 6'2", I weigh about 150 pounds.
Wow.
And I look like I was 4.
Right.
So I'm going for credibility. I get on stage, if you can imagine it, 3-piece suit and glasses.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I wanted to look really studious.
Wow.
So I didn't plan a show. I didn't think about material. I was going to get on stage, go, I'm doing hypnosis, have people laugh me off stage because all I wanted to do
Was
say
get it
to my-
over with.
Say to my roommate,
Right.
leave me
Wow.
alone. I'm doing
Right.
comedy. So I explained to the audience in a very brief format, I'm doing hypnosis. Can I get volunteers? 25 volunteers.
Are you serious?
People bum rush the stage.
Oh my God.
I'm like, and I'd been hypnotizing people for a long period prior to that, but individual and for
Sure.
helping people sleep better and get better test scores and, you know,
Yeah.
relaxing, but not entertainment. So, so I got like these 25 people on stage. I have no idea what to do. So I start talking through an induction. As I'm talking through it, expecting no one to get hypnotized, I see people's eyes rolling up in their head, one after the other, just kind of going,
Yeah. Nodding out.
yeah. And I'm looking at these people like, holy shit.
It
now
worked.
what?
It worked.
So 20 out of 25.
I would
got
have just
hypnotized.
left. That would have been the
Oh.
best. Just walk off stage and
I
leave.
came close to doing that on a TV show.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt
No.
you. Go back to your. I want to hear about that too. But
Crook and Chase on TNN, the national network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you almost walked
Yeah.
off.
I don't like those people.
Go back to this story though. So you notice people start nodding off your first time
Like
on
a light.
stage.
And I'm like, I literally have no idea what to do. And I panicked again, just like
Yeah, sure.
hyperventilating.
Yeah.
And as a comic, and for those of you out there thinking about doing comedy, don't steal. It's
Yeah.
about it. Don't steal other people. You're
Right.
going to be called a hack and you'll have no respect.
Yeah.
And the only one who could get away with it was, and Ollie Joe Prater. And
I'll
Ollie,
let you say whatever you want.
Ollie, do you know Ollie Joe?
I don't know him.
But did you hear his
No,
name?
no.
Oh my God.
So what
This
is
guy,
it?
huge headliner that would sell at every room you'd go to.
What time frame are we talking?
80s.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And he'd walk up to like some middle act or something like that. And he goes, "Hey, you know that bit you do on your grandma?" And the kid goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to take it." He goes, "But I'll do it better."
And he would
Wow.
just straight up take a bit and do it.
But he would do it better. Like he was
Right.
absolutely right. An amazing performer. Amazing.
Wow.
So, and I come from a comedy background
Sure.
where you write your own material,
Yeah.
sing, swim, or fail, or whatever. And so now I've got like these 20 people, and I'm like, I have no idea what to do.
Right.
So years ago, I had seen Pat Collins' show,
Yeah.
and I just like, it's like,
Did
Pat,
that.
Pat, please forgive me.
Right.
And I absolutely stole her show.
Right.
And
And it worked.
it worked great. And so I did my time and I got off stage and a guy came up to me and he goes, "That was amazing." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." He goes, "I'm having a corporate event. Can I hire you to do your show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "What would you charge?" Now I'd at that point only been paid like $5-10 or a
Sure.
free beer or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was going to say 50.
Yeah.
Right. And he goes, "I'm doing a corporate event." And he goes, "How much you charge?" I go, 500.
And he goes, no problem.
No problem.
Yeah. Then you're like, shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And they asked for $1,000.
Yeah.
At that moment, I thought, holy crap, I've got to write a show.
Right.
So I've stole once and once only.
Yeah.
And it was the turning point in my career. And then I started doing comedy.
21
hypnosis.
years old.
Yeah.
And were you headlining clubs from that point on?
When I was still doing shows in Phoenix, I would do like open mic nights, or I would open or middle.
Sure.
But once I got on the road and I was doing hypnosis, there's no way you can really do a
in a 20-minute set.
So I literally went from like an open or MC spot to immediately being a headliner.
Wow. All through hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you, how old were you where you went, holy shit, this is a career. Like this is what I'm doing. It worked. When did you realize it worked? That's what you're going to do. That's who you are.
So I started traveling full time, like 30, 40 weeks a year. By the time I was 23 years old.
Wow.
I didn't realize it was going to be a career until I was about 30.
Right. At 30, you know, all right, this is it. I'm going to grind it out.
I just kept thinking like at some point people are going to figure out that I don't know what I'm doing.
I say that every day of my life. Today's the day when somebody goes, you're full of shit.
Right.
I go, you got me.
Hey, I never thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, it's amazing that you had an amazing first show, especially not knowing what you were going to do.
Right.
I mean, did you have bad shows when you started off? Like what are some of the worst things would you say happened to you?
Well, so I did. Everyone always wants to know the horrible things. So I used to do, not often, once in a while, the Chicago Improv.
Yeah.
And in the day, they would do 3 Friday, 3 Saturday. So
Comedy Factory in Baltimore did it.
Yeah. So like Tuesday through Sunday, 3 Friday through Saturday.
Yep.
So I get up on stage, third show, like midnight show on Friday. And at this point, it's not just headlining. I'm doing a one-man show. Like it's me and me only. And so I get up on stage and I go, hey, how you guys doing? The audience started screaming, F you, right? And I'm like, oh, hey, just so you know, like it's a one-man show, F you. I'm like, no, I'm not kidding. When I'm done, we're done. F you. I go, I know you think I'm the opener.
Right. Yeah. This is it, kids.
I'm really not. So 5 minutes of F yous. And like no one from the club was helping me. And there was no bouncers, no nothing. And so after 5 minutes, I go, look, it's a one-man show. If I get one more F you, show's over.
Yeah.
And they go, F you. And I go, and F you right back. And then I spike the microphone, which, by the way, I have really a lot of respect for sound equipment. And I don't do that.
Yeah.
But spiked it like a football. And I left the stage to a standing ovation.
That's great.
That's amazing.
It's kind of like how Bill Burr made his career.
Yeah,
right?
the Philly rant. Yeah,
100%.
The Philly rant's one of the greatest audible things I've ever heard in my life.
So I go to the green room, which is fairly close to the ticket booth, and the manager comes running in. He goes, "You're going back on stage, right?" I'm like, "Oh, no."
Yeah.
He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "I told them one morning I was out. I don't lie and I don't bluff.
Right.
And I've only stolen once, and it was Pat Collins and Pat." I apologize.
I think she forgives you.
Yeah, she's dead, but whatever.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I think she's dead.
Right.
So then, like a few minutes later, you just hear a bum rush to the ticket booth, people screaming for their money back, and they were furious.
Oh, wow.
Surprise, surprise. Chicago Improv never invited me back.
I can't believe it, Flip. I can't believe it. What was your favorite show you've ever done? Like your hallmark. What is the one show you look back on and go, it was the best performance, the best crowd, the best situation?
Live show?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me backtrack for a second so you'll know why it's my favorite show.
Yep.
Born and raised in Phoenix, grew up in Phoenix. There's a theater there called the Celebrity Theater. I think just shy of 2,000 seats in the round.
Yeah.
Okay?
Whoa, wow.
So I'm 16 years old and I go take a date with me to the Celebrity to see Harry Chapin.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So I sit down, I'm with my date, and I'm not doing shows yet. I mean, I'm 16 years old. And I'm staring at the stage and I'm like, I was mesmerized. It's like, I want to do a show here. Like, because I wanted to be a comic from like first grade, right?
Yeah.
So I forgot I was with the dates. I have no idea what songs Harry Chapin played. For 2 hours, I sat there envisioning myself being on the stage at the Celebrity.
Wow.
So fast forward, I'm doing one-man shows at the Tempe Improv. Love that club. Great club.
Yeah.
And something happened and a promoter called my manager and they said they wanted me to do the Celebrity, and we got permission from the Improv to do that, and we sold it out. We actually sold out 2 shows.
Wow, Flip, that's awesome.
And so, but we didn't spin it the stage, so instead of 2,000 sold 1,000, and we just like
half the stage. Yeah.
And 2 or 3 tiers of volunteers, like 30 or 40 volunteers. Hypnotized probably 80% of them. 3 or 4 camera shoot.
Wow.
And every bit was magic. And you know how sometimes, like, when you're in the middle of something, you really don't appreciate it?
Oh,
This was one of those moments, like, take a breath, slow down, take it all in. And I enjoyed every minute of being on stage.
Let me tell you why I love that story. So my dream, the theater in Baltimore that was like the theater since I was a child was the Hippodrome. And it was,
I know that.
So it was a magnificent theater. And I said to myself, I want to perform at the Hippodrome.
Right.
And when I was doing mornings, I did it. I said, I'm booking a show at the Hippodrome, and I did it. And we filmed it. It was incredible. And that moment, I remember I'm about 25, 30 minutes into my set. And I had this pause, and I looked up, and I was overwhelmed for a split second. And I told myself, take this in.
Right.
These are one of those moments in life that you'll remember. So when I hear you tell that story, it like gives me goosebumps, honestly, because I know what that feels like. It's the greatest accomplishment.
Well, it's the first show. So when you do comedy clubs, there's a green room in most cases, but that's sort of it. So we show up to this theater.
Yeah, man.
Our tickets were sold by Ticketmaster.
Right, same thing.
Which, by the way, I mean, their fees are outrageous. But that's a whole different thing. And there was like VIP badges where you could like get to the green room.
You were a star, Flip. That's what you felt like.
We catered the green room for an after party.
Right.
It was like, so this is what that feels like.
Yeah.
And then you kind of manifested that, you from when you were 16 years old. I mean, that's got to feel surreal to you as well, right?
Yes, Renee, I heard that. I'm friends with a girl. And so she likes to manifest things.
Yeah.
And I pretended to not know what that was.
Right.
And then one day she sort of caught me and she goes, "You've been pulling my leg this whole time." It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I told her the story about the celebrity. She's like, "You were manifesting from 16 years old." I'm like, okay, busted.
Were you a good student?
So it depends. Elementary school, I was a really good student. High school, I was a horrible student.
Right.
And in fact, so bad that my parents took me to be tested.
We're the same guy.
Right. And
this is crazy to listen to for me.
After being tested, the guy, like a full day of tests, whatever, they go, you think your kid's stupid. He's bored.
Right.
And he's rebellious.
So,
and that was it.
Sixth grade.
Right.
I'm a terrible student, except for the subjects I liked. I got straight A's, and then I got 4 F's. I had 4 A's and 4 F's.
Right.
Right. But the classes I passed were religion. I went to a Catholic school.
Right.
I loved the history stuff. So I passed religion, history,
right,
science, and social studies, which was, did you have social studies?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I passed all those. English, math, all the really important crap, no good.
Right.
So I was disruptive because I was funny. I was a funny class clown. And my teacher came to my mother and said, look, he just tells stories all day long. I'll make a deal with him. If he stays quiet, we got out at 2:30.
Right.
If he stays quiet till 2:00, at 10 after 2 to 2:30, he can get up in front of the class and tell stories. And my 6th grade teacher sixth grade, I believe, let me do that for 8 months. My grades went up. I loved it. And then 7th grade teacher was a dick and cut my stage time, and I became a horrible student again. But that's a wow.
That is so funny.
But I like hearing your story. Like, I know exactly the mindset you were in from a young guy. You knew it. You knew it.
I've never wanted to do anything else. And again, am I a great comic? I'm not saying,
you are. I'll say you are a great comic.
But I'm a comic.
Yes.
Like, I've got a comic sensibility, comic personality.
Right.
And here's what's really interesting. So 2020 rolls around, right? And the country shuts down.
Yeah.
Prior to that, and hopefully you'll be able to relate to this, every crappy thing that ever happened to me in my adult life, it's like, oh, I'm getting divorced. That sucks. Hey, there's material, right?
Yeah, right.
So every negative was a positive.
Of course.
Then the country shuts down and I can't do comedy. And now I'm not a comic.
You just have all this negative shit.
Right. So every bad thing that happens is like, oh, that's just a bad thing. There's no upside to it.
Yeah, there's no
and
outlet.
I was miserable.
Me too.
Yeah. Miserable.
Yeah, it was the pandemic really it did not sit well with me. It affected you too, huh?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Now, have you ever, like, not to get too deep into this, but like a lot of comics I know do it or have it. Do you battle any of the demons, like the depression and that stuff? Do you got those issues?
okay, everything's a long answer, right?
Yeah, man. This is a long show.
When I was 15 years old, I used to train greyhounds for Phoenix Greyhound Park.
You know what he's like? He's like the Dos Equis guy, like the most interesting man in the world.
True.
Every story, you're just like, wow. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, and I love the dogs and I love training. It was a lot of fun, but I went through some depression then.
Yeah.
And so I'm 15 years old and I'm staying at a 40-acre kennel farm with 120 dogs in West Phoenix. And I'm still putting myself through high school. And then so I'm waking up at like 4 in the morning and I'm putting the dogs out and I'm going to school and I'm coming back and I'm going to the Greyhound Park and I'm racing dogs. And I went through some depression then. And I started thinking, because here's the other thing. When you're in high school and people, parents especially, are telling you, why are you upset? This is the best time of your life. Best time of your life. And I'm thinking to myself at that point, it's like, wait, so things are going to get worse?
Right. Yeah. This is the pinnacle.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just thought if like I'm miserable now and if things are only going to get worse, like I'm ready to check out.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And so, and when someone says, I'm going to commit suicide, it's a cry for help. When someone isn't talking about anything, like they're getting serious.
Yeah.
So I'm like 15 and I'm really starting to think, I don't think I can, if this is it, pinnacle, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'd wake up every day and I think to myself, is this the day? And then I go, well, the day that it's the day, like there's no do-overs.
Yeah, that's it.
You can't come back later and go, oh, I made a mistake.
Yeah, my fault.
Right. So I thought if I don't do it today, I still have tomorrow. So I can wait a day.
Yeah.
I did that I can wait a day thing for about a year.
Yeah.
And then I eventually sort of pulled out of it. But what it taught me was life has ups, life has downs. But if you wait long enough, chances are things sort of get back up again.
Right.
And so I took that experience where I could have made a really big mistake.
Yeah.
And I've applied that my whole life. So 5 divorces, a woman who left me when we're engaged, the pandemic. And it's like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
So do you think, some of that that's where your interest in hypnosis came from in the mind? Or
it started earlier.
Yeah.
But that really accelerated it.
Yeah.
I think that really made a huge difference. And I was doing self-hypnosis by that point a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it helped a lot.
Do you subscribe to the fact that the mind can kind of accomplish anything? Because you and Matt, you're in people's heads, whether you know where you can take people and lead them. Do you think that the human mind is capable, if we knew how to really control it and dive into it and really use it properly? Do you think we're just basically scratching the surface and that we could do ridiculous things?
So those are sort of two different questions. And let me answer it 2 ways.
Sure.
Are we just scratching the surface? In my opinion,
Yeah.
yes, I think we really are. Now, can I hypnotize someone to do anything? Well, no. I mean,
No, I get that.
So like, you're not 20 years old, right? So I'm not going to go, you're like Spud Webb and you're going to be in the NBA. Right. Or,
He picks the shortest guy in the NBA, by the way. I love it. That's the shortest guy in the room.
I don't know. I had one Spud. Okay, I'm a dick. Oh my God.
I love that. I thought you did it on purpose. I thought it was hilarious.
I told you I don't pay attention to what I'm talking about. But like if you were to say, so for instance, Lopez, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anything really about chemo. I've never had cancer. And I did everything wrong.
Right.
But, he was still able to make it through his chemo sessions much more comfortably.
Yeah.
Because his mind did it.
Yeah.
I was 23 years old and the dentist came to my show in Phoenix. And he goes, after the show, he goes, that was amazing. I'm like, oh, thank you. He goes, I've got a dental patient who needs surgery tomorrow. And she can't have anesthesia. She's allergic to it. Not Novocaine, not nothing. Right. Which, by the way, I know that's bad grammar. I did it on purpose. I don't care. So he goes, would you come hypnotize her? Because I've heard hypnosis can do pain management. And I go, no. And he goes, why? I go, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I am. I go, yeah, but what makes you think the bark like a dog hypnotist is going to be doing dental surgery hypnosis?
Right.
And we're talking, and he finally hit me with logic that I couldn't argue against.
Okay.
He goes, if it works, she's better off. And I go, well, that's true. He goes, if it doesn't work, she's no worse off.
Right.
I'm like, you son of a...
He gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did it?
He had her come in at 5 after office hours because he thought she was going to scream and he didn't want to scare the other patients. So I go in, and again, Matt, being a hypnotist, I'm doing my normal induction, right?
Sure.
And along the way, there's tests which serve two purposes. One is of which is to let me gauge how well they're doing.
Yep.
Secondly, based on how well they're doing, the test, when it's successfully done, sends them deeper in hypnosis. Okay.
Wow.
So in other words, if I go, your eyes are locked shut, you can't open them, and you're sitting there with a look on your face like, really?
Yeah.
And then you go to open up your eyes, you're like, that realization that something has happened. Matt, right or wrong?
Sure. Oh yeah, yeah. It gives,
unlike Lopez,
it lets them know something's happening here.
Yeah.
If you corrected me, I wouldn't give you the bird.
Right.
Okay. So, I'm doing the induction, and I'm nervous because this is like real life stuff. And she failed the first test, failed the second test, failed the third test. And in my mind, I'm like, this lady is screwed.
Yeah.
Right. But as a hypnotist, what you're taught to do, if you're given good instruction, is to remain calm at all times, to talk with a certain cadence, and no matter what happens, to act like that's what you meant to have happen.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. 100%.
So like I go, you can't open up your eyes, and she goes, doink. And I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't pull your hands apart. Doink. That's what I'm looking for.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. And everything's going that way. Yeah.
She's screwed. And then I go with her eyes closed. I go, let's move on to why you're here. I know that soon the dentist is going to be working on you. And as you know, your mind has this incredible ability, and you can start feeling numb and comfortable. And all of a sudden I saw this rapid eye movement, and her body went like just.
You got her.
And
it's about motivation, really, I would say, Flip, right?
She didn't understand any of the tests, and she thought I was wasting her time. And she was so nervous about the surgery. She just thought I was being a chucklehead.
Right.
And the second I started going, let's address your problem, she's like, here's why I'm here.
Right. Oh, wow.
And an hour and a half surgery with me talking to her the entire time.
You talked to her during the surgery?
Start to finish.
Did she ever yell, scream, any pain?
Dennis told me after the fact, which shocked me. He goes, I didn't think it was going to work. And I go, that makes two of us.
Yeah.
He goes, so when I clamped the area, I intentionally clamped part of her gum, because if it wasn't working, she'd have gone through the ceiling.
Yeah.
He goes, she didn't flinch. I go, is that why you seemed so confident? He goes, yeah, that gave me all the confidence. So I'm there talking to her, and like blood squirting out of her mouth, and I'm feeling like it's a Sam Peckinpah movie.
Cool.
Right? And so an hour and a half later, and I go, and it was done. And I go, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. When I reach 3, eyes can be open. Your mouth will remain numb as your body heals itself more rapidly, and the circulation will be great, and the blood flow will,
Yeah.
And I go 1, 2, 3, eyes open. And she goes to the dentist. She goes, well, I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I'm ready. I think we can start. And he goes, no, we're done. And she goes, look, I'm nervous enough. Don't screw with me.
She really didn't even know what happened.
He had to turn the light back on, bring a mirror down, and go, see all that? That's the work we've done. And she's like, oh my God.
Flip, that's amazing. I mean, that's got to be number one, or maybe top 3 for you. But what's the most amazing thing that you've seen happen or done with hypnosis? Is it that, or is there something more? I think, and I'm not a doctor. There's certain things that we as hypnotists can do, and many things we can't do. So in terms of a dramatic response, I mean, I think that was it. I've had ladies on stage that were, in the 7th or 8th month of their pregnancy. And so like as I'm
hypnotize the kid.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. Hypnotize the kid. Go to sleep.
I just like on sort of a passing as we're getting ready to end the show, I go in for the lady, show them right here. Whether you get an epidural or not, whatever anesthesia you use, your mind can work with your body to feel pressure, not pain, and to, go through the labor and delivery really easily. Not to try to circumvent whatever the doctor and but in like every case where I've done that, I've received a nice note afterwards, like the easiest delivery I've ever had.
Wow, that is so cool.
Which is, I hope I'm not getting myself in trouble, because I tell people ahead of time, I'm not a doctor.
No. Listen, let's be honest. Something like that. What is, like you said, what's the downside? Just some annoying guy talking in your ear for an hour and a half.
Right, exactly.
I'm not being insulting.
You do kind of have to be careful with stuff like pain, because
of course,
if you actually shut somebody's
pain mechanisms off, they can hurt themselves.
That's a problem when they're not getting a signal from something going
for
wrong.
a couple of reasons. First of all, if you have pain, if you don't treat that part of your body that's damaged, you could exacerbate the injury. Right. But secondly, if you don't know what's causing the pain and you shut off that pain receptor, then they may not have it checked. It's like, oh, those headaches turned out to be brain cancer. Like, so you want to make sure.
Well, yeah, I had a guy ask me if I could get rid of it. He had a cold. He said, can you just get rid of these symptoms for me? I said, maybe. I said, I don't know. But I said, you probably don't want to do that because
Right.
what if this thing gets horrible and you have no idea what's going on?
Right.
You know, you don't go to a doctor. Yeah.
Well, let's change gears here for a second because I could go down that rabbit hole all day about the neuroscience of what you really do.
Flips in Columbia tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my
Let's
God, you're
plug
the
that
best.
again.
Thank you.
At the Encore, right? Is that what it's called? The Encore.
Collective, the Encore, I think.
Yeah, the collective at the Encore.
Yeah.
It's in Columbia. Please go see an amazing talent, a great comedian and hypnotist, Flip Orley.
Do you still have to explain to people what your show is? Do you feel you still need to do that when you go to a club or any type of show?
Well, it's weird. Yeah, the answer to your question is yes. Because like even when I've been coming to DC since like 1991 or two.
Yeah.
Right. So for a long time.
Yeah.
If 30% of the audience on any given night has seen your show before, it means 70% hasn't, or 50% has, 50%.
Yeah,
hasn't.
I'm with you. Yeah.
So there's really it's not fun necessarily for the 50% who've seen it, but it's not fair to 50% who haven't.
Right.
So they still have to sort of get up and running with you. So,
yeah, and I think anybody that understands what you do and has seen you before, they understand how important all of that is to the show for the newbies.
Well, and that's just it. It's still entertainment, still supposed to be fun, but it's a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want people to be up to speed. What kind of volunteers am I looking for? What kind of experience might you have? Can you feel somewhat confident that you can trust me not to be a jerk to you?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to sort of get people in the right mindset, I think.
And when people ask you what it's like to be hypnotized, what do you normally tell them?
You know, I always tell people it's not what you expect, because what you see on TV or in a movie, even on a stage, and a hypnotist will go, by the way, I pretend this is the international symbol for hypnosis.
Right. Yeah.
But hypnotists go like, you're going to sleep.
Right. Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with sleep. You're actually hyper-conscious. So people expect they're going to be.
We talked about this yesterday. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The way I think about it is that I said yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You're the perfect guy to ask. I said, people say that they believe hypnotists tack into your subconscious. I think it's the opposite. I think they shut the subconscious kind of off in that everything you're hearing, your mind is paying total attention to that and that only. That is the conscious mind. When you're reacting.
Actually, just the opposite.
Okay, explain it to me then.
So, I don't know why I always call the subconscious mind the unconscious. Doesn't matter. It's
same thing,
semantics.
Right? Yeah.
So your conscious mind, typically speaking, again, not scientific. We're not talking about the brain. We're talking about the mind.
The mind, right?
Okay. Is your conscious mind is your objectivity, your short-term memory, your
reaction.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Your unconscious mind is your subjectivity, your emotions, your creativity.
I see.
Your unconscious mind also regulates your involuntary functions.
Wow.
So if
you mean like going to the bathroom or
blinking your eyes, flowing, beating your heart,
heart rate, blood pressure, metabolism,
right?
All those things.
Wow.
So, I mean, they don't just happen. Part of your mind has to regulate them, but it's not done consciously. Like, for instance, when you're a young child, right?
Yeah.
And you learn to walk, that learning process is conscious.
Sure.
Right. So you stand up and you're wobbling, you're holding on a thing.
Absolutely.
And you're thinking right foot forward, and then you fall and you get back up and left foot forward. But eventually you get to the point where it becomes second nature. Do you think about your steps when you walk now?
No, I get it. Yeah.
So it's your unconscious mind, which you're regulating. Like you're walking, you're talking, you're on the phone, you're thinking about what you're going to do. But meanwhile, you're moving forward.
So the subconscious is all the involuntary muscle movements
and emotion,
emotions
100%.
and habits. Everything
that's
lives
wild.
there.
Okay, I got it.
So for instance, with behavior modification, you're working with someone's habits, behavior, emotions, but then, and to some degree, creativity. But for entertainment, you're really trying to tap into their creativity.
Yeah. That's
so
amazing.
That's all unconscious.
And when people, ask you after a show, what people are actually experiencing up there, because you do different bits. And I don't know if you want to talk about the specific bits.
I can.
But for instance, when you have them smell a bad smell and a good smell, what do you tell people? Or when you're floating something across the stage, like you're invisible, what do you tell people when they say, what are they experiencing up there? What are they?
I can't give
volunteers.
I can't give a specific answer to that question, because let's say, okay, the three of us, right?
Yeah.
We all have these senses: a sense of smell, taste, hearing, sight, our feelings, kinesthetic, whatever.
Yeah.
So let's say your primary sense is being really visual. right? Let's say Matt's primary senses is really auditory.
Sure.
Okay, so I give you the same suggestion. You're going to approach it from your sensibilities in two very different ways.
Love it.
So let's say hypothetically, I tell you your eyes are closed. Like when your eyes come open, I'm going to be butt naked, and when you see me, you're not going to be offended, you're not going to be angry,
Right.
but you'll think, why is the hypnotist naked?
Yeah, and why is there a pistachio on his dick? No, I'm kidding.
And so, like after the show, because by the way, also with my shows, like when your eyes come open, you'll remember everything. You know everything you said, everything you did. Because I don't want people leaving the room.
Right.
You've entertained 300 people for 2 hours, but you have no idea what happened. So people will come up to you and they'll go, Did you see him naked? And you're like, yeah, I have no idea why he took his clothes off. That was crazy.
Right.
And they'll go up to Matt and they'll go, did you see him naked? You're like, no, I saw clothes on. But it made me laugh because something felt amiss.
Sure.
Something seemed wrong.
Yeah.
Is that response not correct? And that one's correct? No, they're both correct because you're approaching it from your strengths and weaknesses.
Sure. That's fast.
Very subjective, right?
Have you ever done one-on-one? Do you ever do that? Like somebody comes to you and you sit down with them and you...
Not often, and I'll tell you why. What I've discovered over the years, first of all, I never wanted to learn hypnosis to be a therapist.
Right. I got
I wanted to be an entertainer.
Right.
But it's still a really, 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 really valuable tool.
Absolutely.
That can help people succeed in a host of ways.
Yeah.
Sadly, a lot of people want to go to the hypnotist for a magic pill.
Right.
Like a magic wand.
I want to stop smoking. Make me. Like kind of stuff.
Or not even I want to stop.
Right.
It's like, make me stop smoking.
Yeah.
And I'll go, oh, you want to stop smoking? Well, my doctor said I have to.
Right.
Oh, so you want to stop smoking? Well, my wife says you bitch at me. Oh, so you want to stop smoking? Well, my kids are always complaining.
Right.
And they're like, no, I'm not going to work with you. And they're like, why? I go, because I asked you 3 times
if you want to stop,
and 3 times you told me no.
Right.
So, like, I don't want to waste their time and their money.
Sure.
But I don't want to waste my time either. And I also don't want someone bad mouthing me going, hey, you went to a hypnotist and that was bullshit. It didn't work.
Right.
It's like, I can do what I can do, but I'm not going to walk around with you, smack that cigarette out of your hand.
Yeah. No, I want to say to anybody that ever tried that, like the hypnotherapy part of it. I went to the smoking one, right? And I was with someone. We both, I smoked a pack and a half of Marlboro Reds a day for 30 years.
Right.
And I could never quit. And I went to this hypnotist with someone and they're smoking and I'm smoking and we get done. I walk out. I'm like, I need a cigarette. Like it didn't work. And they literally go, I think I don't want to smoke anymore. They never did.
Right.
It was amazing. So I know that it works. Like
there's,
I saw it work.
There's like 3 kind of people. There are people that'll go right back outside. They'll never smoke again.
I lit up before I got to the car. That's the truth.
Yeah. And then some people will still get cravings, but they'll be able to push through. And then the other people go out and smoke a cigarette.
Yeah. And the thing that I think threw me off was he let us smoke during the thing, and he made us like hot box it. He's like, take the biggest drag you can. Do it. Breathe out. Yeah. Everybody's coughing.
Yeah.
And we did that like 3 or 4 times, and then we put him out, and then he went through his whole thing. And I'm like, this guy's just trying to make us sick. So my grandfather made me eat one.
Well, the party trick is when you're at the party and somebody's outside smoking, you hypnotize them and you make it taste like garbage.
Yeah.
Like burning rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, if you're looking for a long-term solution.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever, real quick example, you remember when like kids would bite their nails and their parents would put that nasty taste?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. They would learn eventually to ignore the taste.
Right.
Right. Because they just wanted to bite their nails.
Right.
So if all you're going to do as a hypnotist is give suggestions, again, this is the international symbol, where cigarettes taste bad or they make you sick, that might work for a day or 2 or a week or 2. And for some people, maybe forever, but smokers will push past it.
Yeah, they usually do.
So the thing of it is, like, it's all a matter of perception. Nobody says I smoke. Right. Which is a verb.
Yeah.
They say I'm a smoker, which is part of their identity.
Right.
So if smokers, if I'm a smoker by virtue of the definition, I have to smoke. I'm a smoker.
Yes.
So to me, the more effective way when someone wants to become a non-smoker is to appeal to all the reasons that they benefit from becoming a non-smoker.
I love it.
So, because the thing of it is, people on a conscious, but even on an unconscious level, they really resent having things taken from them.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
people hate change too.
they hate change and they hate being deprived.
Yeah.
So if I say to you, you're not quitting smoking, here's all the things you're getting by becoming a non-smoker.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it sort of flips their perspective.
Yeah.
And they stand a better chance of becoming a non-smoker, which now is their new identity.
Flip Orley at the what is it called again? The Encore, right?
The Encore.
The Encore Columbia tomorrow night. Please look that show up. Go see Flip. Flip right now. We're going to do basically it's our news segment.
Do it.
But it's the weirdest thing. It's like crazy stories Matt finds. And that is brought to us by Barnes Paving, BARNES paving.com. No job too big, too small, commercial, residential, whatever you need. Barnes Paving can meet all of your paving and asphalt needs. Barnes Paving is MHIC licensed and insured and accredited with the Better Business Bureau. It is now time for That's the Facts, Matt. What do we got, buddy?
So kind of a serious story up front. We've got
let me tell Flip real quick. Just
Yeah.
chime in. Just say whatever you want while he's reading.
Well, are you sure are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
we encourage that, please.
Yeah, please.
Virginia Jeffrey, her father insists. I don't know if you know this. She was the Jeffrey Epstein accuser.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she died by suicide,
Jesus.
and her father is now claiming that somebody got to her, that it was not suicide. She was found dead on April 25th at her home in Western Australia. Authorities ruled it a suicide, but her father, Sky Roberts, strongly disputes that, saying somebody got to her. His suspicion is echoed by a 2019 tweet in which Virginia explicitly wrote, "I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal." And she's also been one of the people that has accused Bill Clinton of arriving on Epstein's island with several girls.
Didn't Seth Rich commit suicide by shooting himself 4 or 5 times?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. That's that old joke. You ever heard that old joke in the Southern State Trooper is riding down and the guy, one of his deputies calls him, says, "Sheriff, you got to come see this." And he pulls up and guy's laying on the side of the road and he's got 5 bullets in the back of his head, but he was town drunk and everybody hated him.
Right.
So deputy says, "Sheriff, what do you want me to do?" He said, "I don't know what to do, but I'll tell you what. That is the saddest case of suicide I've ever seen in my life."
What's so funny is I think prior to, I don't know, the last 8, 10, whatever it is, 10 years, I was one of those people, and I am not a rule follower.
Sure, right.
I'm
You're not a jackass, but you're going to do what you want.
I'm rebellious, but
Sure.
but I tended to believe it's like my government wouldn't lie to me or whatever. And then like the last 8, 10 years, all this stuff that's taken place, and it doesn't matter which party was in office, but like now at this point, I don't care how wild the conspiracy is.
It's got some legs.
But it like
Sure.
Whereas in 2010, I would have gone, "Oh, suicide, yeah, I'm sure." Now I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? Maybe
Who knows?
Maybe not."
Yeah.
I just saw a poll. It was like something like 58% of Americans do not trust the government or the media. Or they're skeptical at least.
We got to look at each other now.
Yeah.
We kind of look at each other like, what do you think?
I mean, honestly, if the government said you don't need to go outside, skies are blue, I'm like, let me just double check.
Yeah, let me look.
I don't know.
Although my friend Mark Voice, another comedian, has a great bit. He says, "I'll tell you how stupid people are." He goes, "If the government made it a rule tomorrow that in order to drive a car, you have to wear a canned ham on your head, what's the first thing you'd see Monday morning? A bunch of idiots driving around with canned hams.
You'd see Hormel stock go way up."
Go ahead, buddy. What else we got?
So there's an old orbiting Soviet probe that's set to fall back to Earth. It's a 50-year-old Soviet probe meant for Venus, expected to crash back to Earth soon. The Cosmos 482
How
probe.
ridiculous would it be if that satellite from Russia crashed in Ukraine? Like, if it just worked out that it landed in the Ukraine, that would be, I'm sorry, but that would be a little bit of irony.
I would have to say Putin's a
Genius. What a long play. When was it launched?
It was launched in 1972, but
See what I mean?
malfunctioned and has been stuck in Earth's orbit ever since. The dead spacecraft, which is around the size of a car, was built to survive the hottest planet in our solar system. And they're saying that the chance it hits a person, about 1 in 10,000.
That's not that high.
That's
It's
pretty
not.
good odds.
So wait, did it make it to Venus and came back? Or did it just like go to the moon and hung out for a while?
I believe it did, and then it malfunctioned. And
It turned around and came home?
And now it's coming back. Yeah, it's coming for us.
I think there was a Star Trek episode about that, like the Nomad.
Look at you, Geek Central. Let's get into that. Are you a Star Trek guy?
No. But I wrote a bit about Star Trek.
Let's hear it.
It's called The Cap of Knowledge.
What is it?
So there was an episode, the early like late 60s, 3-season
Yeah.
with Kirk and Spock and whatnot. So anyway, I think it was actually called Spock's Brain, where this planet of women, not very bright, right? And it has nothing to do with women. Just the guys were dumber.
I think what was that planet? Earth. That's what it was called. God.
So, but they had this big hat that housed all the information the universe has ever amassed. And anytime they needed to know how to do something, you put it on the cap of knowledge, and they had that information for a couple hours, right? So at one point, like their community was dying, and they needed a brain to run the computer system. So they put on the cap of knowledge, and they beamed over to the Starship Enterprise, and they did brain surgery, and they took Spock's brain out of his head, and they brought it back, and they plugged it into the computer to run the community. And then Captain Kirk and McCoy goes, holy crap, Spock's missing a brain. So they have to figure out where these women are. They track them back, and they go to retrieve Spock's brain. So with that in mind, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to have the cap of knowledge? And I have a baseball cap that I bring in my bag on stage. And I tell everyone on stage, you have the intelligence of a 3-month-old. Right. So you can sit without falling, and you can breathe, and your involuntary functions work. You can't even understand language. And so you have that far away stare. You know how like babies look like I wish I knew stuff, but I don't. Right.
Yeah.
And so so I have the audience ask questions. Nothing philosophical, nothing like who's going to win the lottery, or is philosophical. What's love? Why are we here?
Right.
What happens when you die? And then I go, I go, what's love? And the person will be like,
right.
And then I go, ladies and gentlemen, I got the cap of knowledge. Well, embedded within the suggestion is not only does it let you know everything,
right,
but it gives you arrogance, and where you look at people with disdain
because you're so much smarter than them.
And so you stick. They're like, and they stick the cap, and they're like. And then they just brutally go after the person that asked the question.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But it was, am I a Star Trek geek? No, but I've written.
But I knew season 3, episode 5, Spock's brain.
Spock's brain.
That's hilarious. Well, we've had stories on the show before about self-driving vehicles. I don't know how you guys feel about getting into one of those. Now,
would you do it, Flip?
Not
a chance. Bet. Right,
not
me
a
either.
Chance.
Yeah. Now there are semi-trucks making road trips in Texas on the highways. A semi-truck with no driver making long-haul runs on a Texas highway. The Aurora company says their self-driving 18-wheeler has started making round trips between Dallas and Houston for its 2 customers, Uber Freight and Hirschbach Motor Lines. The 2 companies had conducted test runs with Aurora using safety drivers to monitor the technology. Now, the commercial service is running without a safety driver.
An 18-wheeler is on the road
go wrong
with no driver. Yeah.
Wow. Like you're screwed any way you look at it. It's like I'm getting on a plane. All of a sudden, the door plug comes out of a Boeing. You're like, oh, so that's I'm on the road. Hey, there's no driver in that car. Like,
big deal.
I'm not happy.
I was driving down 95 about a year ago, and a guy had that Tesla that drives itself. And as I drove past them, I swear on my life, this is what I saw, him driving.
That is unsettling, man.
And I'm blowing my horn, and then the girl I was with goes, I think that's self-driving.
Whew.
And I'm like, well, we're about to find out, because there was a bend, and the car just went fine. The dude out the whole time. I'm like, oh my God, I could not believe it.
That's guts just to attempt.
And I took an Uber home from Lunacy one time.
Yeah.
And it was the driver was in it, but he said, watch this. And he drove like this for 10 minutes up 695 and 95.
How cool if a cop had driven by, you might think the guy's getting held up.
Yeah.
Then it'd be this weird high-speed pursuit.
So, Mick, I know you are not a fan of flying. I don't know how you feel.
Well, just real quick, I have 1.5 million miles with United.
Wow.
1.3 million with American. Another 500,000 with Assorted.
Wow.
And I haven't flown since 2020 and may never again.
You don't like flying?
Yeah, I drive everywhere.
Do you really? And where's home now? Louisiana?
Lafayette, Louisiana, yeah.
So how long was the drive to Maryland? 12?
It was 18 hours, is 1,200 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
They must be paying you good, buddy. You're going to drive.
No, but you know what? I really have very, very, very good friends, and they're nice enough to let me stay with them, and I plan extra days, and so we're hanging out.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, well, that's definitely work. But you drive everywhere now?
Everywhere.
Do you like driving?
More than flying.
Yeah, me too. But let me ask you this. You got any bridge problems? Heights?
Oh, no.
He's a hypnotist.
I was thinking, but yeah, I
Can you hypnotize yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
You really can do it. if you have a fear, you could get into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I used to fly, I would hypnotize myself all the time just to make the flight go faster.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Can you make yourself fall asleep?
Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
You know what? I'll give you an audio.
I would love it.
In fact, if you want, we can give away audio downloads.
Yeah, man.
Oh, love that.
On the show here?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, anybody that would. How many? First, how many people?
They can, I can give it to you and you can
send it to anybody we want. Yeah.
You want to tell some people to call in?
Or they can email
well,
me.
Give me the phone. Hand me that phone right there. Yep, that one. Let me show you our studio phone, Flip. Check this out. You're not on some rinky-dink podcast, buddy. Look at this, huh? We take phone calls.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, we're the real deal. Real deal around here, Matt.
While we're getting the phone hooked up, you can call in. It's 443-762-7111. Is that what it is, Mick?
626-7111. I'll let you take a shot at it. 443-626-7111.
We're professionals.
If you would like an audio download, please actually just text us to 443-626-7111. We will send you the link.
Wait, what's the number?
443-626-7111.
7111.
Yeah, go ahead and call. See if it's working.
Well, first of all, I'm going to send you a text.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, man.
I'm sending you 2 downloads.
Awesome.
Sound Sleep.
Sound Sleep. I need that one.
And I'm going to send Relaxation.
Relaxation. Do you have one called Stop Being a Bitch?
No.
Because I'd like to send that to somebody.
Dude,
this girl I know.
Haven't mentioned him divorce 5 times.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's the one you need to do. You need to do a hypnotist thing, and it's just called Stop Being a Bitch. And then you can make one for guys called Stop Being a Dick.
You would solve all the problems in our country.
Yeah, just stop being a dick.
Well, the thing that's horrible about that idea is that I had less comedy to talk about.
What's that?
I would have less comedy to talk about.
I get it, man. I know. Every bad choice I've ever made has made me money in a comedy club.
Oh, my God.
Am I right?
100%.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Tell me, by the way, if this would make you guys want to fly again. There is an airport in New Zealand that is often listed as one of the world's most unusual and potentially nerve-wracking airports due to a rare and striking feature. It's a fully operational railway line that crosses directly over its main runway.
So the railroad goes through the runway.
Yeah, so that means planes have to plan their takeoffs and landings around the train schedule. It sounds scary, they say, but the system is...
hold on, we're getting a call,
right.
Flip.
Right.
I got it that loud so that we can see if this works or not.
Put them on the air.
Hello, you're on the air. Can I help you?
Hi, I would like a hypnotist download, please.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do. When we get off the air, I'm going to send you a text, and it'll have those links in it.
Awesome.
Which one are you most looking forward to?
Guys.
Listen, what is your name?
Billy Farley.
What is it?
Billy Farley.
Billy?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
Billy.
What would your what type of hypnosis audio would you be most excited about?
I don't know. So throw one at me.
Well, let me ask. Flip has a brand new one called "Stop Being a Bitch." Are you interested in that one?
I am so not a bitch.
I believe it. I can tell in your voice.
I am so far from being.
And he also has a brand new one called "Fall in Love with a Short Guy." If you're not a bitch.
Honestly, by the way, you sound
you.
delightful.
Oh,
I
thank
follow
you,
you
Billy.
everywhere.
Thank you, sweetheart. That is very sweet of you, and thank you. And I
Good
promise.
luck with the show.
Thank you, dear. And I promise you very much that we will send this link to you. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Billy.
for listening.
All right. Thank you very much. Wow, that was like a real call,
That was
Matt.
good. That was good.
That was awesome. And Flip, let's see. Did I get your 337?
Yep.
Got him, buddy.
We're just impressed that our studio works.
I'm loving it. For any of you who do get a download, just so you know, and I probably should have written disclaimers, but don't listen to it while you're driving.
Right, of course. I'll put that in the text
don't be a knucklehead, because you're actually having to sit there for 20, 30 minutes with your eyes closed and your body relaxing. And
I'm going to have you write me a disclaimer that I will send with every text. So that way we're all safe here. That's what we need tomorrow. The sun or the banner will finally cover us because somebody drives off the Bay Bridge listening to Flip CD.
Right.
Flip, I have to. So this is like, you know what it's like as a comic, especially. I don't travel. I do everything locally. I do most of my stuff is stream of conscious. You know, but so I constantly have to work, right? So I every Sunday in the summer, I host a bikini contest.
Good for you.
At a dock bar. It's incredible money. It's packed. It's the most fun. But I got to drive over the Bay Bridge, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is voted the worst bridge in America to drive over.
Really?
It's high, it's long, and it's petrifying.
Right.
The bar, Red Eyes Dock Bar, sends me a driver every week to the other side of the bridge. I park, I get in their car, they drive me over the bridge, I do the show, they drive me back to my car.
See, they just should have sent you a hypnotist. Boom, boom, one and done, man.
I've tried so hard to be hypnotized. I want to be. I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys that have sincerely tried.
Means you have low IQ, unfortunately.
Is that what it means? Low? I mean, I'm an idiot, so that's clearly.
If I were to hypnotize you, I'd go again. Bridge is fine. Everything's good. You remain calm. If something bad happens, you've had a good run. Right? So at that point, you're like,
calming, Flip.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
It is a win-win, and I will tell you, this is the truth. As we approach what used to be the toll area, that's gone now.
Yeah.
But now it's all laser. They just read your tag and send you the ticket or the bill. But anyway, you go over. As soon as that bridge starts, it's very ground level when it starts. But as soon as it starts, I put my head down. I lose my cell signal on the bridge because it's a weird spot.
Right.
So I just start reading text from like a month ago. And the whole time I'm literally going, don't look. And inevitably, as soon as we get to the crown of the bridge, I go, oh my God. And I repanic all over again.
Okay. Do you know how to fix that?
Yes. Don't drive over the bridge.
Well, that's the best fix.
Yeah. How do you do it?
So when someone tells you not to do something, or when you tell yourself don't do something, that's the thing you're most likely to do.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So instead, if you were to think to yourself, what I'm going to do, in other words, nothing negative, only positive.
I'm going to keep my head down.
I'm going to read text. I'm going to bring a book. I'm going to listen to music, whatever it is. I'm going to close my eyes and relax, whatever. And I'm going to just keep doing that calmly. I'm going to breathe easily, because as you think, don't do it, your mind's like, do it.
Wow.
Yeah. So be positive and give your mind direction of what you want.
That works.
Versus telling your mind what you don't want.
Yeah, it's interesting. Still, I'm petrified.
I'm willing to bet, at the very least, it won't be worse than what you're normally used to experiencing. And most likely.
Is that a Flip Orley guarantee?
It is.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
But will most likely be better.
All right. I promise I'll try it, because I hate it.
Yeah.
I do.
They used to have a service on that bridge where they would drive you. I don't think they have it anymore.
I think they got rid of it. They might still have it, but Flip, it's one of those bridges, like you pull over. People pulled over. I can't drive over this thing. Yeah, it's brutal.
It's crazy.
We'll talk about a road rage incident that happened in Philly.
Of course I do.
There's a woman who pooped on a car in a road rage incident. One car cut another off at an intersection, and a female driver got out of one of the cars, walked over, pooped on the hood of the other vehicle, and it was all caught on video.
Amber Heard?
I was about to say it.
That was a bed flip. That was a bed.
Yeah.
The suspected poo perpetrator has been identified as Christina Somletto. Apparently, when she was arrested, she told cops it was a clean poop in response to online chatter saying it was diarrhea. So just to clear things up.
Oh, so her defense was it was solid.
Yes.
Then it's all right then.
Everything really is relative.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt.
I don't know if you know, but you can get a 3D printed robotic arm now for $100.
Flip's got one.
Looking for a one-arm buddy? It's Hugging Face, renowned for its AI developer platform, has introduced the SO101, a programmable 3D printed robotic arm, priced starting at $100. Building upon the success of its predecessor, the SO100, it offers enhanced assembly ease and improved motor functions that reduce friction and support the arm's weight.
So I'm just curious, in honor of my friend who's American but originally from England.
Yeah.
Is that arm used for like wankers? Is that what that's for?
I don't think it gives a specific use, but for anything you could use a robotic arm for, I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
Well,
because
could it slap your kids for you? Like, well, you're not guilty.
If it slaps your kids, like, you really don't care the texture of the palm.
Right.
But if you're using it for something more intimate, I would want it to be smooth.
Yeah, I'd want mine made out of ostrich leather.
Right. What did they say? They said, improved motor functions, that reduce friction and support the arm's weight. So reduced friction, that's good.
That is.
I kind of like a little more friction if we're talking about what I think we're talking about.
It depends on like how goal oriented you are.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're about the journey, you want less friction. If you're about the destination, you want more friction.
At this point, Flip, I'm just a destination guy, man. Get me there. Oh my goodness.
I'm all concerned about destination for prostate health.
By the way, I want to mention your friends are here today. Your names again? Andrew and Sarah. Andrew is from England. He's from Newcastle. And we were talking earlier. They had seen me do comedy before, and apparently Andrew and I had talked. And I'm a big Premier League soccer fan, right. So and I just on the show I wanted to congratulate Newcastle because last time I saw you might have been down a division.
It was a very sad time.
Yeah, very sad time. And I want to compliment you because I can understand everything you're saying, and that's odd for a guy from Newcastle. So it was good to meet you, man. Thanks, man, and nice to meet you so much. Flip, Matt, do we have any more stories?
We do, but we're
I'm just looking at the
here.
time. I can't believe how much fun we've had. Flip, the Encore Columbia tomorrow night. Do you have a website?
Yeah, oddly enough, everything has my name involved.
FlipOrley.com.
FlipOrley.com. My email is flip@FlipOrley.com. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, no X.
Yeah.
And Facebook, and it's
Nice.
all the /Flip Orley. So I'm
and real quick, really interactive show. So people you come in the audience, you hear Flip do some great stand-up,
No, thanks.
but then it's about the audience members coming up and
I
having
guess
fun,
if we're going
right?
to talk about the show for a second, I know
Yeah.
we're running long.
Yeah,
If
no,
you
that's
do-
fine.
Please, no,
If you do
please.
come to my show, I don't pick volunteers. You can be in the back row, the front row, anywhere in between. I ask for volunteers. If you do want to come on stage, that's your choice, not mine.
Right.
I only ask people to come up there for the right reasons. In other words, you don't have to get hypnotized, but at least come up there with a desire to give it a fair shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't pick on people in the audience. I try to be really nice to volunteers. The whole bark like a dog, squeal like a pig, dog and pony show. I don't do any of that.
Right.
It's not like if you've seen a Vegas show where they
it's
borderline abuse some of their
Right,
volunteers.
right.
That is not Flip.
I'll be honest. I've seen Flip 3 times, I think, at the DC Improv, all 3 times. And it is an absolutely world-class show.
Thank you.
You're a phenomenal entertainer. I'm really honored. I know Matt is as well that you came and did this podcast while you were in town.
Then ooh, you're going to invite me back.
1,000%,
Oh, my
man.
God.
We'd
What a
love to
great
have you
time.
back.
Yeah.
What a great
Flip,
time.
you're such a treat, man. It's such a talent. FlipOrley.com. Check him out more. Matt, big news. I had a big announcement I wanted to do today. I'm going to move it to Monday because I want to spend some time on it.
Great. Now we're all in suspense here.
But I'll tell you, it may involve Flip.
Okay.
That's the hint.
All right.
May involve Flip.
Okay.
If things work out.
I may have to wait around till Monday.
Well, I'm hoping you do, buddy. I'm hoping you do. Everybody else, thanks, Matt. Where do they see us everywhere?
So please go on and subscribe. We have a brand new YouTube channel. If you're watching on Facebook right now, we're probably not going to be there forever.
Right.
So please go to the Facebook, to the YouTube, which is youtube.com @Mickey Talks Pod.
Right.
And then where else?
Rumble.
That's
We're
right.
on Rumble. We
is
joined.
well.
We joined the Q community.
Oh.
I did one of those shows last week.
Like a QAnon?
Yeah. Well, a lot of Rumble is the political shows, right?
Yep.
And these guys are like, they deep dive, man, into like these conspiracies. So I did one and I had a blast with them.
Really?
Yeah. And they let me just say, I think you guys are full of shit. Like none of this makes sense. But then they would go on. And by the end of the show, like you said earlier, I'm kind of like, all right, maybe, maybe Biden wasn't really the same guy that like they do all these things and you're like, maybe it was a different person. You make some compelling arguments, man.
I have heard that before too. I doubt it, but whatever, maybe.
I'll send you the link of this when I'm on that guy's show.
I would love to see it.
It's fascinating. It is fascinating. But so Rumble, yeah, we're on Rumble as well.
And of course, anywhere you can find podcasts now. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon.
We're a real show.
Yeah.
To all the listeners and viewers, thank you so much. You guys have made this possible. 31 shows now, right? Or 32? What was this one?
This is
31.
31.
31 shows in. We have sponsors, more people coming on board. I'm so grateful. Matt, so grateful. Flip Orley, you're like the most talented guy we've had on the show so far.
Holy moly.
Yeah, you're the king right now. And I'll tell you, I don't know who's going to come on this show, but it's going to take a lot to impress me, my friend.
Wow.
And I've seen you, so I know what I'm talking about. Go see Flip. Everybody else, have a great weekend, and we'll be back Monday with a big announcement and from Nepal. This is
Oh,
fascinating.
right.
Flip, I met a lady. She's she's from Nepal.
Right.
And they actually have a musical group, and they're big there. Really big in Nepal. And she's coming on the show Monday. They're going to do a show here, and I'm going to interview her. So I'm going to learn all about, what do you say, Nepali music? I don't know the right
Nepalese?
word. I don't know. I've tried to say it right.
I can't think of Nepal without thinking of Eddie Murphy and the Golden Child.
Right. I want the knife.
I want the knife.
Please.
All right, we're out of here. Thanks, everybody. See everybody Monday. And remember, just be nice to everybody out there. It's a hard world. See you guys.